Hey everyone, good evening. Thanks for having me speak this evening. I want to talk about one thing that's concerning to me being a journalist. So first, I'm not the biggest fan of social media and journalism, but I do recognize what it brings to the table. Heck, myself, I'm probably on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat for an hour a day, maybe even more. And where do I get most of my news headlines before digging deeper? Yep, social media. I hate to say it, but it's true now. But there's one form of social media that's very disconcerting to me. The medium, the app, whatever you want to call it, whatever it will become, is Periscope, live video. Like anything, it has its positives, it has its negatives. It's cool for everyday Americans to get an inside look at an athlete, maybe, if we talk about this in a sports sense. Maybe it's a video on Twitter, a Periscope on Twitter, of batting practice before a Major League Baseball game, or of a press conference where there's TV cameras present, and there's nothing wrong with that. Periscope, do you. But the big thing for me is, what about bringing Periscope into a sports locker room setting? So first off, athletes are in the locker room for a reason. They're changing, they're showering, and if Periscope can be used here, then something that shouldn't be seen, that's going to get out, unfortunately, whether it's intended by a reporter or not. Secondly, as media reporters, as media beat reporters, if you can't take pictures in the locker room as per the credential guidelines, how can you possibly take video? Some might say Periscope, once completed and it only remains public for 24 hours, that's part of the terms of Periscope, so there's no problem. It goes away after 24 hours, and what's the big deal if you do it in a locker room? But for sports, that's not really a big deal because, or that's illogical, I should say, because after 24 hours, what one athlete or coach has said is irrelevant. There's another game to play, there's another practice that's been had. So the lifespan of a locker room interview is essentially just those same 24 hours that Periscope is available. Lastly, what about screen grabbing technology? 24 hours is plenty long enough for someone to capture something, not just for a minute or two, but forever. Broadcast rights come into play as well. The flagship stations and other outlets are paying huge amounts of money to get TV contracts, video contracts. Then isn't Periscope, isn't that violating those contracts? All this comes at a time when Periscope is not included in current media regulations. No one knows what's right, wrong, and that needs to change. I implore the teams, leagues, and other organizations in sports to define the use of Periscope in locker room settings. Periscope is a valuable reporting tool, but when used the wrong way, it can certainly be more of a headache than it's worth. Best of luck. Thank you.